Hey guys, it's Dr. Justin Marcagiani here. Today's video is going to be on OMAD, 1 meal a day, intermittent fasting. Excited to talk about this topic with y'all. All right, before we do, put your comments down below. Really curious to know what your opinion is on intermittent fasting, especially OMAD, 1 meal a day. Also, make sure you smash that like button. Really helps the YouTube algorithm. And then put your comments below and hit that bell so these videos end up in your feed every day. Cool. All right, so let's dive in. So what's OMAD, 1 meal a day? So the goal is that you're going to be taking maybe 1 hour of eating per day, and you're going to have 1 meal a day and basically fast the other 23 hours of the day. So number one, what's the benefit? So you have a nice long 23-hour fast. So you're mitigating all that insulin spike without having to do any eating. Of course, we talked about in many videos before the benefits of intermittent fasting. What are some of the benefits, right? Insulin sensitivity. So we get our insulin receptor sites more sensitive. Number two, we increase our telomeres. These are the little shoelace caps at the end of our chromosomes that help us stay, healthy and age gracefully. Okay. We're also going to have cellular autophagy, which is the recycling of our proteins. We're also going to make more stem cells. Those are going to be some really good benefits that help us age more gracefully. Now, why I don't like OMAD, 1 meal a day. So number one, it's very hard to get all of your caloric needs. And again, calories are just a heat energy measure of nutrition. It's possible to have a lot of calories and not a lot of nutrition, aka junk food, processed food. So if we're eating whole nutrient dense foods, there's going to be calories and nutrition. So when I use the word calories in this talk, it's going to be interchangeable with nutrients, okay? So just kind of as a little guide there. So off the bat, it's very difficult to get enough of your caloric nutrient needs met in one meal, okay? So especially if you have any digestive issues, any lower stomach acid, lower enzyme levels, you're now having to get 200 to 300 to maybe 400% more nutrition per meal than you ever had before. So if you already have any kind of a digestive issue or a motility issue, not enough enzymes or acids, or you have any kind of digestive impediment, now you're stressing out the system. Because now you're putting more nutritional needs, more protein, more fat, stressing out the gallbladder, the liver, the pancreas. So I'm not a big fan, because I see a lot of patients, most I see in general, people don't have good digestion, not even close. And so if you're stressing out that system, not good. My favorite kind of intermittent fasting would be like either a 6 to 8 hour window of fasting, because it's easy to get two meals. You can do it, right? Because then now you're cutting down the caloric needs by 50%. It's easier to do it in two. Three's the best. So if maybe some kind of a liquid meal, or you do some kind of a meal around noontime, something around 5, and maybe a mini meal around 7 or 8, right? That's pretty easy to do. It's not too bad. I don't like doing intermittent fasting all the time. I think your body does better going in and out of it, kind of like a cyclical type of thing. But with OMAD, number one, you're stressing your digestive system, more enzyme, more acid, more bile needs. Number two, 23 hours can be a lot. If you have a faster metabolism, you have a lot of energy going out with thinking and thought and moving, you may do better getting some extra nutrients in your bloodstream throughout the day. I always find it's easier to have nutrients already in your bloodstream because you're already digesting that, whether it's supplemental, whether it's a smoothie, whether it's in just your food from breakfast or lunch. Having that already accessible in your bloodstream is very important. So when you're burning like fat, for instance, ketones, your body is going to be utilizing a lot of that fat from stored fat sources. That's good, but what about the minerals it need? What about the magnesium? What about the B vitamins, right? It's not like we have a storage site on our body for that. We don't store these minerals or these nutrients per se. So where does it get it from, right? So that's the problem. I like the fact that a lot of these nutrients may just be in your bloodstream because you had a good meal earlier that day. So I like the access to nutrients, because that plays a big role. People just think, well, your body's just burning fat, but that's great. What about the other nutrients that you need to run these energy pathways? We need potassium, we need magnesium, we need B vitamins, we need selenium, zinc, magnesium, and you don't get those nutrients in by not eating them. Now, people say, well, your energy demands for those nutrients go down. Okay, I could buy that, but you still need them there. So that's why I like a little bit wider of the intermittent fasting window. So one, you have access to those nutrients. Number two, you may still have a lot of those nutrients from the day before. And three, you can still eat a good sized meal, not overly stress your digestive system, and you can at least get a lunch in there, right? Most people do well. If they skip one meal, they can probably recover at lunchtime. If they skip two all the time, maybe a little too much on their adrenals, on their stress handling system, on their thyroid as well. Especially women, when you start fasting too much, you send stress signals that can affect your reproductive hormones. Fasting means lack of nutrition. It tends to mean famine, starvation. It tends to mean stress. So your body's hunkering down, and the female hormones, progesterone, estrogen, can switch, and that can create infertility issues. And of course, infertility issues, you start seeing hormonal imbalances start off first. And those hormonal balances may drive just mood and energy and cognitive and sleep and mental performance. So we want to make sure we aren't sending any stress signals. And for my female patients, do not do any intermittent fasting unless you are already good from a hormonal standpoint, thyroid, female hormone, adrenal. And then if you engage in it, try to do a more compressed feeding window, 6 to 8 hour compressed feeding window, and just try it on your less stressful days. Okay, don't do it on your super stressful days. Try a weekend day first, right? Maybe you sleep in till 8 or 9 o'clock on a Saturday, and then you don't eat till 12 or 2, right? That may be a better way to do it, because then you're not having a stressed out day. You're not having all these hormones in your body from a stress perspective, and then you have time to sleep and kind of wake up more relaxed and more parasympathetic based. So my issues with OMAD, I don't like the 23 hours not eating, more adrenal stress, more hormone stress, more thyroid stress, very hard on your digestive system, enzymes, acids, bile salts. That's an issue. So if you have any digestive issues, it's going to get magnified. Number 3, I feel like you can get a lot of the same benefits by still doing a compressed 6 to 8 hour fast. I still feel like a lot of those benefits are still there. My concern with intermittent fasting in general is just people making a lot of ketones, and ketones can be very appetite suppressing. So because of that, you may just not be hungry, and you may undereat calorically. And remember, calories equal nutrients in my example here. And so you just got to make sure that you are getting enough nutrition throughout the day. I mean, 2 to 3 meals, it's pretty easy. Once you go to 1 meal, man, you need a huge salad. You need at least a full avocado and a half. You need probably 12 ounces, maybe 16 ounces of protein. You need a bunch of fat in there. You need all 6 servings of your vegetables in there, maybe starch. It's a lot. Like, prepare to be eating for a whole hour. Seriously, it's a lot of food to get down at one time. So that's kind of my general gist on the OMAD stuff. And I always tell patients, make sure you're giving your body nutrients throughout the day, at least 3 times, maybe 4, when you have hormonal issues. Because we want to tell the body, don't worry, we have lots of nutrition. We have lots of caloric needs being met throughout the day. It's kind of like if you have debt issues, right? It's kind of scary getting maybe 1 paycheck a month, right? But if you're getting 1 paycheck a week or 1 paycheck twice a week, you kind of feel a little bit better because money's coming into your account. You're replenishing those coffers, and you can pay your bills off, and you feel better about it. It's kind of like that. So imagine our energy debt. We just want to have nutrition coming in, which kind of makes our energy debt feel like you're going to be on top of it better, right? You're on top of your budgeting, and you're accounting with that cash flow or energy flow coming in. So that's my opinion on that. And again, if you have hormonal issues, you want to send blood sugar up and down swings can be a major stress on the hormones. So by curtailing that out, by being a good fat burner, by emphasizing good proteins and fats and more carbs from non-starchy vegetables is a good first start. And then, of course, we adjust the macros according to our metabolic needs with exercise or mood or energy, all the other things we chat about typically. All right, this is Dr. J here. Hope you enjoyed today's content. If you did, click down below if you want to reach out to myself, if you have hormonal issues due to intermittent fasting or other hormonal stressors and you want to dive in deeper. I'm available worldwide. My staff is as well. Click down below to schedule. And if you enjoyed the content, thumbs up. Sharing is caring. Comments below. Really appreciate it. All right, let's dive into questions. Right. If someone has adrenal issues, what timing and carb count would you start with? I always start lower carb to start, so under net 50 grams of carbs, mostly 75 to 80% should be non-starchy vegetables. And if we do any fruit, keep it on the low glycemic kind of berries, lemon, lime, grapefruit, kind of green apple kind of thing. That's a good kind of first step. And then, of course, healthy amounts of proteins and fats at every meal is a good first step, and go up from there. People that are leaner, they're more ectomorphs. They tend to be really active, right? We can always adjust that for them, all right? You know, my kind of paleo, it's a paleo template. It's macronutrient agnostic. It's not you have to do this, but I always find that this is a better starting point because Once you're lower carb, you can just work your way up, right? You can work your way up versus you start in the middle. You're like, oh, where do I go? Do I go high? Do I go low? So I like starting low and working my way up. Is Austin, Texas the next Silicon Valley? Heard Joe Rogan is your next door neighbor. You do so many healthy food comps to start off in Texas. Oh, yeah. Why do so many healthy food comps start off in Texas? I would just say there's just a really good attitude down in Texas, especially the Austin area, to be healthy food-wise. I mean, it's just a big mindset. I think it's a lot of tech people go there, people that are kind of sick of the California atmosphere, which I left 2013 to come to Austin. It's been great. Good atmosphere, a lot of people who are really into health. It's just kind of the zeitgeist in the area, so that's pretty cool. Is there an accurate test to check for mercury? Yeah, I did a video on this yesterday. Take a look at yesterday's live video, but we talked about a urinary test for heavy metals, and we would do a DMPS provocation. So we wake up in the morning, take a first morning urine, pee, and then we take these DMPS capsules, typically 100 milligrams or so, and then we collect our urine for 2 to 3 hours and send it into the lab. And then if you want to do, you can do a pre and a post if you want. Like pre without DMPS, post with DMPS, you can do that too. And that's a pretty good one. That way you're actually challenging and you're getting a window to see what the tissue burden is. So I really like that a lot. Okay, great questions so far. Justin, why would all probiotics that I try cause consistent eczema and dry patches on my skin below the areas of the eyes? How would you suggest taking probiotics if this is the case? Well, I'm not sure what probiotics you've taken, but that's typically a sign. If you're reacting to probiotics, go watch my probiotic intolerance video. You probably have SIBO. So if you have SIBO, you want to look at addressing the gut better. So you probably have some gut infections, some gut issues. So you really want to work through my 6 R's. Remove the bad foods, replace the enzymes and acids, repair the gut lining and hormones, remove the infections, repopulate, reinoculate good bacteria. You're coming in at number 5, probably number 1. That's a mistake. And then number 6 is retest. For a female 40 previous athlete, usually wake up around 5 a.m. and want to work out, very awake and doesn't want to eat. But I know hormones are all over the place and the fat is accumulating. What to do? Yeah, do something liquid. So have some kind of like a collagen, amino acid smoothie, good fats, good amino acids that are basically protein already broken down. That way it's easy to access it. And if you're not hungry, it's not a big deal. You can get those nutrients in a liquid form and there's very little stress on your digestive system. That'd be a first step. Is a cellular detox the best way to get healthy? So cellular detox, honestly, is just marketing hooey. That's just absolute nonsense. Anytime you detoxify, it's at a cellular level. Your body is always detoxifying. You're always running cytochrome P450 pathways, and you're always detoxifying. Now, the question is to what degree? If you put more toxins in your body, pesticides, chemicals, mold, hormones, antibiotics, right? That will put more stress on those systems. So the first thing is don't stress out the systems. Make sure there's enough fluid, clean water, clean food, organic food coming in. And then number 3, you can support those nutrient pathways, sulfur amino acids, glutathione, B vitamins, antioxidants. You can support them so they run better, but they're always running. And you're always detoxifying at a cellular level. This stuff is running at a biochemical level, right? This is the cellular detoxification hoopla is just marketing nonsense. There's no way to not detoxify at a cellular level, right? I mean, this is cytochrome P450 oxidase pathways that are running to do this, and that's all happening at a biochemical level. Thoughts on astaxanthin? It's an antioxidant in krill oil. It's fine. I don't have a problem with it. If diet's low carb, would you be against this as a good antioxidant? No, I mean, that's just astaxanthins in krill. It's not a problem. Feel like the virus is on its way out. How to protect my parents? So anytime you have viral issues going on here, vitamin C, vitamin D is going to be great. N-acetylcysteine and glutathione are excellent. Of course, getting some good zinc in there. A really good high-quality elemental zinc at about 30 to 50 milligrams a day is a really great thing. Of course, eating organic and keeping the carbohydrate down. High levels of insulin and blood sugar is going to impair your body's ability to generate or engage in phagocytosis, which is your little like macrophages and neutrophils. They gobble up critters and viruses and bacteria, and high amounts of blood sugar will thwart that. It will decrease your phagocyte index, which means you're not going to be able to break down and gobble up these viruses and bacteria. So that's more than likely the thing. So just be very mindful of that, right? Phagocytosis is nothing more than neutrophils and monocytes and all these different immune cells being able to eat up bacteria and viruses. So high amounts of blood sugar, high amounts of insulin will definitely affect that. All right, great questions. Hope that makes sense. All right, in general though, just talking about intermittent fasting today, the problem with intermittent fasting is you got lots of healthy bloggers who don't see patients. They see their results doing intermittent fasting and they're like, oh my God, this is awesome. I have to project it onto every single person. That is the biggest mistake out there. So when I look at people online that generate content, I draw a line. People see patients, people don't see patients. All right, that's the thing. It's like the CrossFit instructor that thinks everyone should do CrossFit, even though probably 85% of people shouldn't be doing CrossFit. They should be doing something else, ramping up to that point, maybe, right? So you got to know where your information's coming from. Is it coming from a practitioner, or is it coming from a thought person that's just thinking about this stuff and not really doing it? Because once you do it, you find out not a lot. You got to know how to apply it to each person. And when you're applying it to yourself, that's great, but it may not apply to the 50-year-old menopausal woman, right? And you have to be able to know that so you see everyone as an individual, not just project your own strengths or weakness on that person. Really important. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed today's content. If you did, comments below, thumbs up, like, and feel free to reach out down below via the links. You guys have a phenomenal day. Take care, y'all. Bye.